Hello, and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast. Man, we got a jam-packed show tonight. Lots and lots to talk about. The WWE has made the WrestleMania card officially official. So I think Tom and I will probably run through that really super quickly. Hey, from what I hear, the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland had a banger of a match on Saturday night with Matt Cardona, which doesn't surprise me. Tom can't wait to tell me all about it because I have not had time to watch it. CM Punk did his first shoot interview since his AEW firing today, and it is all over the news. Obviously, the road to WrestleMania is still being paved in front of us. And Cody Rhodes signed a contract extension. Is he the future of WWE? That's up to Tom and I to decide. We got a lot of fun things that we want to talk about. Let's get after it.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
What's up, bud?
Sitting here watching Raw, laughing at The Rock about his. He brought up a video of little girls crying because he made Cody Rhodes bleed. One little girl said that she was not gonna watch Moana anymore because The Rock was a bad guy. Another little girl said The Rock's bad now. Killed Cody Rhodes. He's dead. Because he's dead. She said Cody was dead.
I'm telling you what, man, Rock is killing it right now.
You're right. It started out pretty rocky, but it's
for sure, no pun intended. But
it has picked up.
Significantly. I hate to tell you, I told you so. I feel the need to tell you.
You were right.
I told you so.
You want me to say you're right? I feel like I said this to you already.
Yeah, you did. But I mean, every time you
it feels better.
You gush over The Rock, I'm just gonna feel the need to just
time.
bring it up. You know what I'm saying? So
get it out of the way, calling me a Phil apologist too, because that's gonna happen tonight also.
Oh, I'm sure that it will. I'll save it for whenever we talk about Phil. I mean, I kind of thumbed through a little bit of that transcript today. So, I'm actually really super excited to kind of talk to that. I have not watched the interview. I think it went live today. I think we knew that it was a thing. I think it may or may not have been pre-recorded. It might have been live. I don't know the details. We just knew that it was today. I have not taken the time to sit down and watch it yet. And maybe I will do that later on. And maybe I'll give you guys an honest reaction to it after I watch it.
The Rhea Ripley one went live today too, but I didn't listen to that. I assume Rhea stayed in character because it wasn't reported anywhere. So I assume she just stayed in character.
Yeah. So I mean, they've been talking about this Phil this Phil interview for well over a week now. Is the first time that I saw it. I'd say.
Well, since we knew it was going to happen, because we knew it was going to happen last Tuesday, probably Monday night. They probably said something about it on Raw while we were talking to each other, and I must have missed it.
But super excited to sit down and watch that. And also today hit Peacock was the Becoming Immortal Bray Wyatt documentary, and I have not sat down and had the opportunity to watch that today either. Lots going on this week. Obviously, we are approaching the on-ramp to the exit of the road to WrestleMania here. Just what are we, 5 days away from night one? Yeah. And I mean, we're like 4 days away from the WrestleMania festivities kicking off. I mean, we're in full WrestleMania swing right now, if we're being totally honest, because Go Home Raw, and then obviously we have a Go Home NXT, to their thing this weekend. And then we've got the Hall of Fame on Friday night after SmackDown. And then obviously Saturday, Sunday, night one and night two of WrestleMania XL, the biggest WrestleMania ever. And the card's shaping out, man. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty good. Obviously, headlining night one, we've got The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins in that tag team match, which is going to be super, super cool. I think it's crazy because the balance of the undisputed WWE Universal Championship lies in a tag team match on night one. And I really like how they've kind of booked themselves this way, right? I think that this is kind of smart to give you the opportunity to trot your 3 of your top 4 talent out 2 nights in a row. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I'm sure Drew's going to be involved in some way, shape, fashion, or form, with this whole thing, because it's kind of like, he's sided with the bloodline, but not really, just because, he's trying to do his own thing, but he just continues to pop up in their segments, and, it's a whole thing, right? And he's got his own little squad with him too, so I don't know.
It's a good way to get a lot of people into the spotlight for the main event match, and it's a good way to keep continuity. That's the word I was looking for. It's a good way to keep continuity from night one into night two, so that way we can have the stipulation of the end of night one affect what happens on night two. So it's like, we got to watch night one, because then we got to see what happens. Are the bloodline just going to beat the absolute shit out of Cody Rhodes on Sunday? Are they just going to beat him bloody, and that's going to be the end of it? Or is it going to be no interference and straight? So it's interesting, right? But
I like that it's got stakes, though.
Yeah.
I think that, like you said, it lends to that continuity, and that's been the big difference between WWE under Triple H's reign and WWE under Vince McMahon. Right, like there's long-term storytelling that goes on here, and the amount of continuity that seems to just continue to be present week after week, day after day in the Triple H era is what makes WWE so exciting right now.
And it's less, and Triple H isn't fickle about it either. I feel like that was particularly over the last decade or so. Vince McMahon was fickle about things where he would, on a whim, decide, I don't like it. And he always did this.
Oh, yeah, but it got way worse in the last 5 to 10 years.
He would just decide he didn't like it. So, like, a storyline that was going on for a while would just get dropped, like, immediately.
Yeah, and then we're sitting here, rode hard and put away wet, and we're like, where's my payoff?
Well, yeah, like, what happened to this? And then you'd find out, oh, he was released. Like, what? Is that the payoff? Like, you fired the guy that was in the storyline when you didn't finish the story, you just fired the guy? Like, what the fuck, man? Like,
oh, well, he looked at me real funny, pal. Like, that's not good shit. We come back into Gorilla and he, fuck you. You fucking terrible segment.
Walked back into Gorilla and he sneezed, pal, and I hate that shit. So his storyline.
Hey, speaking of, while we're on the subject of Vince McMahon, did you see today? I didn't really dig into it too much, but I guess that Janelle Grant's her love letter. Yes, there was a love letter that was introduced to the trial today. At least that's the news that broke. I didn't really read it, but I did see that there was that she was coerced into doing so. It seems to be the claim.
I saw that was the claim too, and I didn't look too much harder into it today because I was pretty busy at work today, but. Man, that sure sounds like the exact thing that you would say. Do you remember the part in Liar Liar where they came out like, objection? Why? Because it's detrimental to my case.
Yes.
Kind of like, is it possible that she was coerced? Sure. However, this was they didn't mention this in the initial lawsuit that there were love letters that she was coerced into. It wasn't covered in that. So when this just comes into evidence or shows up in evidence during discovery, the immediate discrediting of, oh, well, she was coerced. Okay.
So here's what I've got. So I guess there was an excerpt of the letter that was placed in the into the post. I don't know what that is. Probably some sort of supermarket dirt sheet in New York, but it says these are her words in this letter. It says, after almost 3 years together, it's like my life isn't even real to me unless you're there and in it, and I'm sharing it all with you. Her attorney would go on to say, frankly, it's pretty disgusting that Vince's weeks late attempt to defend his horrendous behavior he claims to this day never happened, is to try to showcase letters that Vince himself coerced her to write. His psychological torture of her continues, as is typical of abusive predators who respond to women speaking out with increased threats.
But there's, like, the thing about that is that, like, that's a PR statement, right? Where's the proof that he coerced her into that?
McMahon's attorney would go on to say, this is revisionist history. No one coerced Miss Grant to write that letter. She wrote it on her own accord.
And I mean, it's going to be a he said, she said sort of a deal. But at the same time, like, are we saying that Vince McMahon was mastermind, and maybe he is mastermind enough to have written had her written write love letters just so that he could save them, just in case something like this happened?
Yeah, just so he could save them, so that whenever he didn't pay his... Goodness gracious. Sorry, I don't know if you could hear those two loud bangs, but my laundry room is right next to my studio here. And I don't know if the wife loaded the washing machine a little crooked, but it is a clanging and a banging over there.
I bet the non-fitted sheets got inside to the fitted sheet. That shit happens to me all the time. It's the worst.
That's a possibility. But I mean, to have the foresight to have her write these letters to PYA in the case that he decided not to pay a settlement that was going to wind up in, federal court or whatever.
I mean, that all seems rather fishy. And look, I'm not saying Vince McMahon's not the devil.
I mean, I think we've talked at length that we think we agree with that to the contrary, right?
But man, is that like that's some tinfoil hat thinking right there for me. That's a little bit of a stretch, you know what I mean? Like that's some tinfoil hat shit is what I'm, it just
I mean, it's hard for me to believe, and again, obviously, we've maintained our stance on this since the very beginning, that we feel like this is a business deal gone wrong. Like, there definitely, in our eyes, there was definitely some consensual behavior that occurred here, and that this is a business deal on this NDA and this money that has gone awry, and now. I feel like there's some spin going on here, some legal spin going on here to make this something that it's really not, just to ensure that the party is paid what is due plus more. That's my opinion. I think that a lot of the things that have been said are absolutely fucking horrifying. I mean, there's no doubt about it, any of that. That shit's that's not love to me, bro.
No, but, look, nobody's not saying Vince McMahon's not a bad person, and that whatever happened was probably sick, because he's got a sick, gross mind, and we've all known this for decades.
Well, I mean, who else would let your arch enemy make out with your wife and daughter in the same television program?
Look. So much there is a disconnect there from Vince McMahon and his moral compass that is not okay. But that being said, I just, like, somebody's got to tell the truth, right? It can't all be this never happened, and it can't be bullshit. Both sides can't stalemate it to the point of, like, this man's the most evil, corrupt devil. And he can't be like, I'm an angel, like that. And that's where we are, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, everybody's wrong.
How about the power play of Vince having a female attorney in all of this too, right? Like, it's the whole thing's spin, bro. All of it, all the way down to his female attorney. It's all spin.
It is, and I think that's really what gives it less credence than maybe like that's what makes me just want to be like, you know what, Vince should just go away and I just want to forget about all this forever, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Like there's just, and that's all there is to it.
Listen, you're the chosen one by who? Huh? Whose great moral compass chose you? Huh? Say his name if you got the balls.
Right, exactly.
What a great piece of business that was on Monday night.
Oh, now who's a Phil apologist, huh?
No, I mean it absolutely was. I mean, don't forget Drew McIntyre hit him with the stiff jab early. You don't drink and you don't do drugs, but you sure spend an awful lot of time in rehab. Ooh, come on, buddy. That was a stiff fucking jab, bro.
It was a stiff jab. Yeah. I do like. I mean, that promo back and forth was tremendous.
It was a great segment. Great segment. That's PG, brother.
That's PG. It was too. Phil even brought up the Jim Cornette experience in the drive-thru.
Yeah, and then did you see Corny did a picture in the middle of his yard wearing a CM Punk t-shirt doing the it's clobbering time thing?
I saw with his little dog.
Oh, fucking
his
shit.
Dog's name is Harley, not Larry the dog.
They even said shit about my dog, man.
Yeah.
Punk did say that in the interview today, and we're going to get into that at some point here. But, right now, Tom and I are running down the WrestleMania card. So if you're hanging out with us, throw us a thumbs up button. We appreciate that. Hey, man, moving on. This co-main event, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. What a fucking phenomenal build this has been.
I'm so excited.
This is going to be such a phenomenal fucking piece of business. Like this women's title match, I think realistically, looking at the night one card from a wrestling match standpoint,
night one's the night.
I am so excited for fucking night one, and I am so excited for this match between these two women, because Becky has been the man, right? Mm-hmm. And all pun intended, like big time Bex, bro. Like,
I mean, Becky's been unstoppable, basically.
And if Derek was here right now, he'd be shitting all over me saying this, but you can't argue. You can't argue the body of work.
So I was concerned when she came back, because I think she was hurt for a little bit, or she wrote a book and she was hurt and writing the book and whatever happened. She wasn't on TV for a month or two. It wasn't a long time, but she was sort of out of the title picture, right? And Rhea's obviously been the champ for more than a year at this point, right? Has it been?
Yeah, she won it at WrestleMania last year.
Okay, so we're coming up on.
Yeah, she beat Charlotte at WrestleMania last year, and then right after WrestleMania, they gave her the big gold women's belt.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, so but Rhea's been basically at the top of her game. I mean, nonstop since then, and even leading up to.
Mommy's always on top.
Mommy's exactly, and so Rhea's been holding it down, even as the Judgment Days kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit. Rhea's still been like at the top, and then they kind of had to build Becky up to meet her, and I think that build has been incredible, and I really think that's been kind of the sort of, I don't want to call it an underdog, because that's not fair to either of them, because they're both top draws. Like, wherever they are, they bring eyeballs to the product.
No arguments.
But with just the build with Becky, to have Becky come in as the underdog, which is how they had to play it, which is crazy if you think about it hard enough.
Absolutely. That's absolutely crazy.
Crazy if you think about it. But they brought her in as the underdog and like brought her up, and it was like, how'd they do that? How did Becky do that? Just with just the way that she like can cut a promo now and like get that quiver in her voice about like she's not sure that she's the best, which is why she has to beat you.
And then she's gone out like 6 straight Monday Night Raws and just put on fucking bangers.
That too. That just going out week after week, like, hey, we're just gonna tear it down for 15 minutes. How's that sound? Sound like a fun Monday? Sounds like Monday to me. Let's go. And just not only do that, but like put on a banger and then cut a promo, because that's how they've been, right? It's been like a one-on-one, because it was a couple of weeks ago, she and Liv Morgan put on a classic, and it was this whole thing has just, it's given me goosebumps thinking about it. It's great. They've done a better, unfortunately, fortunately, they got Sami Zayn coming out here. They're trying to do the same thing with Sami. I don't know that it's quite the same.
They started too late, man. Like,
they had to pivot, and Sami's doing his best.
You know, and I mean, they definitely had to pivot, because by all accounts, this Sami Zayn versus Gunther match was supposed to be Gunther versus Brock Lesnar, which we talked about a little bit before we hit record here today. That it feels like a downgrade.
Not that I'm not going to enjoy the match, because I'm sure that I am. But it's
anytime Gunther's in the ring, like it's must watch. It's must watch WWE.
It's just not the match I really, really wanted to see. You know, like, God, Gunther versus Brock would have been just
that would have hit all your big man meat points there.
Oh man, that would have been my match of WrestleMania. I wouldn't have.
I got a feeling them two would have just beat the living shit out of each other for our enjoyment.
Yeah, and we loved it. Oh my god.
I mean, I'm getting I'm going half mast just thinking about it.
Right?
I better be careful though, because I got my Hoochie Daddy shorts on today.
Don't want it to pop out.
Yeah, dude. Listen, so I bought these like fucking like 5 or 6 inch inseam shorts, right? I was like, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm a big dude, but like big dudes make his shit work, right? Yeah. And I've been sitting on them for a little while. I bought them like before the weather started to warm up, and I was like, I'm gonna wear them today. So I put them on, and I go upstairs, and I'm waiting. I'm like, hey, Lens, what do you think? She's like, oh, you look nice, babe. I said, you like my shorts? She's like, yeah, actually, I like them a lot. I'm like, oh, I thought you'd be really upset. Thought you'd hate them. She's into them. I'm gonna go buy a bunch more.
Nice. That's how you do it. I saw Ailstorm on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was good. Now that you speak about the Hoochie Daddy shorts, that's what their guitarist wears when he's up there. And I said to Ashley at the time, I'm like, should I wear shorts like that? And she was like, you show me where to buy them. We're gonna get some of those shorts. It's like, yes. So apparently that's what's in. So yes. That's what we're wearing. That's what we're wearing this summer, bud.
Yep, I'm in it now. Like, I'm in it now.
Well, mine are on order, so I guess.
I got these on Walmart.
Walmart?
They were $5. They're phenomenal.
I'm gonna have like 8 pairs tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have like 8 pairs tomorrow as well.
Yeah, there we go. Watch it be fucking cold for the.
Yeah, right.
Walk out of Walmart.
Fucking.
When did it start to snow?
Santa Claus comes flying by.
Exactly.
Say, hey man, your time is past. All right. Yeah. We're looking to, dawn's early light. You know what I mean? Fucking.
We're looking to
Rocket's red glare. It's time.
We're looking to get some sun where there ain't been some sun. All right.
Yeah, no doubt. I got sleeveless on today. I got fucking Hoochie Daddy shorts on. Right. We were out there walking the dog and hanging out front today, and the sun was out for a little bit, and then the clouds started rolling in. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. I'm so sick and tired of fucking rain and gray shit.
Other than the first part of this morning, rain held off pretty much. It it wasn't nice, but like.
I got up to like 75 down here.
Right. It got. But it wasn't like sunny. It was like overcast, and it was like threatening rain here.
We had about an hour where the sun was out, and it was like around 3 o'clock down here. Like the sun was out.
I was working, so I didn't see that. I had my face buried in spreadsheets.
Well, today's my day off, pal, and the kids are still on spring break, and the whole thing, and like I don't know. So, hey, speaking of fucking things that I'm looking forward to, man, Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso.
That's God. Am I so like? I'm excited not only for us to see that, but I'm excited for those because I've been a fan of those guys for ever.
Listen, I liked them whenever they were doing the fucking Haka gimmick. Oh,
I thought that was cool as hell. I did too. Me too. Yeah.
There was something there with this, with that version of the Usos.
They've just got so much charisma as humans, and whether they're together or apart, clearly they've got whatever it is. They have it.
Yes.
And the fact, like, I'm excited for them, right? Because I've been a fan of theirs, but also they give sort of relatively candid interviews, and they've said for the last decade that their be-all end-all is a match against each other at WrestleMania, which is finally now happening. And I want to say they said this during an interview together 6 years ago, something crazy like that. Like before they went on that their crazy long-term title reign and all that stuff. Like while we were still referring to them as the greatest tag team of all time because they were still a tag team at the time, and now they are actually getting to live their dream and face each other at WrestleMania, which I'm sure is for them like the greatest thing that they like. So, congrats to those guys. They've climbed the mountain. They've made it. I mean, clearly they had been. But
I think Jey Uso might be a world champion by next year's end.
I mean, maybe. And but I feel like anything on top of this is just more icing on the cake, really. And, they've at this point, like, done everything that they set out to do. And now anything more, they could both be singles champions and whatnot. But, they've fulfilled their story. So, it's like sort of they'll kind of get the better version of what Edge and Christian got, I think, maybe. You know, like Edge and Christian did most everything as a tag team, and they did face each other, and that was good. But Christian was sort of always relegated to the back, kind of a lot. But at this point now, it's like, well, they've both been the top tier main event guys, even when when they held the tag titles, those tag titles felt untouchable.
Yes.
And
yes, absolutely.
That's really, so they've already sort of surpassed what Edge and Christian would have done as tag champs. And then, I think the Jey Uso could certainly have a similarly successful singles run as Adam Copeland did as Edge.
Oh, thanks, bud. I appreciate what you did there.
Yeah.
Look, you're learning because you're tired of me jumping down your fucking throat every week.
A little bit.
I mean, listen, it's real funny because so my cousin is a casual, right? And like he's like super invested in what's going on, and he's even been watching AEW a little bit, And he was like, "Oh man, Edge and Christian had a great match," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop you right there." Adam Copeland had a match with Christian Cage. Let's just calm down with the Edge thing, okay?
Uh-huh.
That guy in AEW, sure, he looks a lot like Edge. He has a lot of the same mannerisms. Might even have the same entrance music, but they are not the same person.
No.
So
Adam Copeland is a nice guy. Edge is a bastard. And that's what I liked about him. But anyway, go on. Finish because I know where you're getting to this, but I have so many thoughts. I have word vomit ready to come out about this.
What was I saying?
You were talking about how Edge and Christian had a match, or Adam Copeland and Christian had a match.
Oh yeah, but I was just saying
that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but I just corrected that. But I'll cue you up since we're here. So I guess we'll circle back to WrestleMania. I mean, for fuck's sake, we got a whole another hour at least.
Oh yeah.
But so I guess like the internet has told me that Adam Copeland and Matt Cardona had a dream match on Saturday night. A match that they've both wanted for a very, very, very long time. Obviously, I think very highly of both talent. I think that Matt Cardona is out doing what is best for him, while we may not always agree with the indie scene and the things that they do and they don't do. He's gotten himself over in a major
every way possible.
More so than he was ever given the opportunity to do in WWE. And you look back at that, and it's like, man, could you imagine if he was given this opportunity, what could have happened, right? So as a fan, I'm happy for Matt Cardona. Obviously, I'm the biggest edge mark in the history of edge marks. And I have a lot of respect for Adam Copeland's body of work in the WWE over the course of his 2 careers in WWE. I've even gone on record on this show and saying that I believe that he deserves a second Hall of Fame nomination because of his return, right? I have been super critical of his work in AEW because the presentation is the same, but it feels less than. To borrow vernacular from Eric Bischoff, it's less than. It's just not as good. He's not as good. And I don't know.
Vernacular for me, it's fine.
It's fine. So I've not had the chance to watch this, even though Tom asked me to watch it today. And because he wanted to talk about it, and it was on my to-do list. The day got away from me. I didn't get to spend the 20 minutes to do so. I will circle back and I will still do that so that Tom and I can have a conversation about it later. But I'm interested to hear Tom's thoughts on this because he has also been extremely critical of Adam Copeland's run in AEW. More so just agreeing with my points while still just mixing in his own Tom
isms. We'll go with Tom.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So, Tom, please enlighten me.
All right. So I appreciate everything you did there because you really cued me up in a way that really tickles my thoughts and really allows me to kind of spit them out. So to just point out the match itself was fantastic. They got about 15-ish, 20 minutes of greatness out of each other. I'm not going to go in too deep to just the nitty gritty of it because I want you to watch it. But Matt Cardona came out hot, almost got Edge within the first minute with with his finisher. It was the Rough Rider. I don't know what it is now. What
the fuck is it called? It's whatever his entrance music is called.
Yeah, right, that. But anyway, he almost got Edge like in the first minute.
Radio static or some shit like that.
Yeah, something like that. And then, Edge got the comeback, which was great. Matt Cardona did a great job at wrestling as the heel. Edge got all the babyface pop, or Adam Copeland. Sorry. Don't kill me. Got all the babyface pops. And, it was all great. Like it was a good match front to back. Now, here's my thoughts on this. Now, this match could have been something. It could have been great. However, as per AEW, it's a cold match. So cold, in fact, we had no idea.
It's an open challenge, pal.
Right. Okay. Don't. I know. I
mean, that's how Ricky Stark's got a fucking job with AEW, bro.
Don't do this. Don't do this. But this could have been money, and it was instead not money. It was just a Mark's surprise. And I think that really kind of gives you it's sort of what AEW does best and also what they do the worst. So this is the kind of cold match that you want AEW to have and just surprise the shit out of you. This is the kind of surprise I want out of AEW. For me, the Super Mark, who has invested in Adam Copeland and who has invested in Zack Ryder. However, this match was not the only cold match of the evening.
That's so wild to me what you just fucking did right
there. Wasn't the second cold match of the evening. It was the third cold match of the evening. And it leads me back to thinking this is sort of the problem with AEW in that they sort of beat the dead horse before they do anything cool. Meaning that I like your gallon Tito's.
It's still the same one from last week, so
I figured.
I haven't died yet.
I was gonna say you're still alive, so I hoped.
Listen, I will say this though. I did have a questionable couple of days where like my lower extremities hurt. Okay. And I was like, man, am I dying?
Did your fingernails hurt?
Like
that's what happens to me.
I felt like I was getting ready to pass a kidney stone, right?
Rye whiskey makes me feel like my fingernails hurt. I'm just gonna point that out.
But I was starting to feel like maybe I was gonna pass a kidney stone or something. And then I was just like, oh, that's not fair. I've done nothing. I've had zero to drink. Besides whiskey and vodka for like 6 straight days.
Oh, well, that's why. Maybe you should not have something else.
So now,
drink a glass of water.
I'm gonna drink a glass of water right now.
There you go. Look at that. I mean, good job. Anyway,
there's vodka in my glass of water.
Back to the Cope Open.
But there's water.
You've heard we've discussed the criticism of how if you're going to have somebody do a triple backflip through a table, you maybe shouldn't have 3 people do a triple backflip through a table,
or do a swanton bomb right before the guy that created the swanton bomb comes out and has a match. Yes, there's been a lot of that.
Yeah. And this seems to be the problem with AEW, because this is what AEW does the best, is sometimes they'll surprise you with a cold match that makes sense, like the Cope Open. It makes sense that these matches are cold, but also this is what gives us supermarks a fun little seed to watch and be excited about. However, it gets diminished by all of the other cold matches that Tony Khan, as the supreme supermark, wants to see happens before. Because this wasn't a surprise. This was like a bright spot in what was already cold match, nothing booked, something that was written today, something that was just thrown together, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, did they have to put some work together to get Matt Cardona to show up to be booked against Adam Copeland? Yeah, they did. And you know what? That was great.
Yeah, that shit's probably been on the books for like 2 fucking months, bro.
Right. Yeah. But you know what they did is they watered it down and made it and washed it out, because the rest of that show sucked. Wednesday night sucked. So we have this bright spot, this flower that's sitting in a pile of shit, because they let this.
Hey, they call those mushrooms.
All right. Well, and
if you eat them, you visit the fairyland. And you speak to the fucking giant dwarf, right? Who says, "Oh, welcome, young man. I shall send you back to the netherworld, a much wiser being."
Is that why the House of Black came out after that match?
Oh, dude, I'm so excited for that.
Right, that's good. Right, that's a good build. But even the build of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage up to that was so stop, start, turn around, come back. Hey, we're stuck in a parking lot. Oops, how do I get out of this garage? Oh, hey, we're back on track.
Adam got hurt there for a couple of weeks.
Right.
He was a little banged up, so they had to kind of pump the brakes.
Yeah, right. I'm not saying that it was fine. And it all worked out, and I'm not like that was probably some of the
except for that weird TV match that they had that you complained about last week.
Well, that was weird, and it was bad, and it was not. It was awkward, wasn't it? Was that wrong? Was it not awkward?
I mean, I went back and watched it. It was awkward. It felt very disconjointed. It felt like they were just out there trying to get their shit in that they had not gotten in, even though they had gotten it in 27 years ago in a fucking ladder match in WWE
when they were younger. It was just the continuation of a 30-year-old WWE feud. But hey, that's at least they got it in, I guess. And that it was better booked than like the Daddy Magic matches, which not to get off on a tangent, but so Daddy Magic got a title shot randomly out of the middle of nowhere in his own hometown. Was over as hell, but they did nothing to build it. The man's on commentary every week. They could have been drip dropping this, but no, just cold, just a cold match. Here you go, Daddy Magic in your hometown. Guy's over his shit. No build to this. Gets beat clean in his hometown. Whatever.
Didn't Tony Khan get all sorts of credit for taking care of talent in their hometowns?
Not from me. And I'm fine. Look, I'm fine with people getting beat in their hometowns. I really am. But I mean, at least build to it. Let somebody slap him in the face while he's on commentary so that he can like flip out about it on TV. That didn't happen. There was no build. It was just called. Hey, it wasn't even announced. It was just, hey guys, Daddy Magic having a match.
Sorry, I'm having some
shorts problems there, buddy.
No, I'm having some chair problems.
Oh, chair problems.
Look, the back of my chair, like the hydraulic piece gave out, and I don't know which one of these 12 levers it is underneath of me.
Oh, that's the worst.
So I'm just kind of raw dogging it here a little bit.
That's why I lean in.
God bless, man. Well, most times I sit square to the camera like this, so you can see my very picturesque frame,
broad shoulders.
And then other times, I like to let you see this part of my frame. I
want to tell the listeners at home that one time I hit Walt's shoulder with my shoulder, and I'm not comparatively to everybody else who we played soccer with and who we were friends with. Like, I am not a small man comparatively to the rest of our friends who we played soccer with. We played with some sickly looking, bony little men.
Yep.
And I hit many of them with my shoulder and fucking ruined them. I ran into Walt with my shoulder and I spun as though I was given the clothesline from hell. And Walt didn't even try. It was my fault. I did it. Like, I ran into him and then I got up from the ground and went, "What the fuck?" And Walt looked over at me and went, "You okay?" And that was the end of that.
At least I checked on you, pal. I mean, most people didn't even get that.
Huh? Nobody else got that. But at least you said, "You all right?" And then you kept going.
So, but yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited for an actual program. Maybe they use Adam Copeland as a catalyst to get Tommy End. I'm sorry, that's not Tommy End. That's Malachi Black. Maybe they get him over.
It's not using the man I wrestled in Dusseldorf, Germany.
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm excited. I was excited to see the still shot of Malachi Black out there face to face with Adam Copeland, because I'm into that. Because if we can get a vintage edge out of Adam Copeland against Malachi Black, that's going to be a great fucking feud.
Right, especially if they're like dead set on him. So I don't know about you, but I don't like.
He gets the Brood back together to combat the House of Black.
Gangrel's already been on AEW television twice.
Christian's there.
The writing's on. Like,
wow.
How do you, I mean? They probably can't use that. They can't use that song. But they can remix something.
They could do something, bro. I mean,
wow. But just reverse it. Bow. Something else. Just do. But have them come up and just, oh my God. Oh, could you imagine?
Oh, I got the gears rolling. Look, I got the fucking wheels turning in that fucking head of yours.
Oh God! If they don't do that, if they
he'll cut that promo. I'm gonna have to go to that dark place. Yeah, I don't want to go there, but I'm gonna have to go to that dark.
I want to be that guy. And Beth's gonna have to make a Twitter post like, "Oh no, don't make him be that guy."
I mean, but that makes sense though. That could possibly be a thing that happens.
I just want, if Gangrel's not involved, I don't want to see it. Right?
Well, I mean, what if they use Kill Switch instead, and then fucking Nick Wayne?
No, I want Gangrel. If it's not Gangrel, I don't want to see it. If Gangrel's not there, just standing there. It's got to be Gangrel.
Nah, I mean, I'd be into that. I mean, I'd fucking talk a lot of shit about it because Gangrel's like fucking, I don't know, what is he now, like 62? Like,
he looks great.
The only teeth he has left are his fangs.
Well, because those are glued in.
Yeah. Oh.
That's fine.
No, I mean, he's still teaching wrestling school. He's still got his wrestling school. And by all accounts, a lot of people like to go there. He trained Ronda Rousey. Not that that's any kind of claim to fame.
Let's not talk about that. Yeah.
Hey, man, she fucking beat the fuck out of the WWE this week.
It's weird that she would come out and be so mean about it now, right?
Well, it's because she's WWE fans got a sour taste in their mouths.
But they weren't gonna
I love the fact Eric Bischoff said she comes off as a bitter woman.
He did say that.
I think she is. Listen, there's no questioning that Ronda Rousey is not one of the greatest female athletes of all time. She is she is the best female combat sports athlete to ever walk this planet. I don't care what anybody says. We can talk about the fact that Holly Holm KO'd her with a head kick and then she was never the same after that. And that's all true. But Holly Holm's no fucking joke either. And for like 5 straight years, Ronda Rousey was bell rings, takedown, armbar, done. For like 5 straight years in fucking MMA. She wasn't always with UFC. She was with Strike Force beforehand. And I remember what
Strike Force is why she and
Misha Tate. Well, Misha Tate, her and Misha Tate had that rivalry, which was a lot of fun.
And that's why she and Shayna were friends because
in Strike Force. But she was a bad bitch for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, okay. I mean, she just like everybody, you can only do it for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was in her early 30s, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and let's not forget, she trained in judo her entire life and won a bronze medal in the Olympics.
Yeah, that too. She's an Olympian.
She's a fucking stud combat sports athlete. There's no questioning her legacy in combat sports.
Well, and also too, the MMA sort of started to go away from jiu-jitsu. It just started to evolve, and you can't just switch styles 30 years into your life. It's just not.
It's hard.
It's hard. And it's not that's Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and that was her thing. And she came across Holly Holm, who is a pure striker. Yep. And Holly Holm just kicked the shit out of her. And that's she couldn't defend against that. She didn't catch it. She didn't catch any punches and be able to throw it in. Had she caught Holly Holm's, I think that's really kind of what we don't talk about with Ronda Rousey.
Well, I mean, too, and a lot of that, if I remember correctly, I mean, she came in and she took Holly down early in that fight. And Holly was able to battle back to get back to her feet to secure that knockout. I'm not going to sit here and I don't think that you're trying to do this, but we can't take anything away from Holly Holm.
No, I'm not trying to take anything away. I'm not trying to take anything away from Holly Holm. I'm just saying that Ronda in whatever the 9th,
the evolution of the sport. It was the evolution
in the 9th or 10th year of her career. There were just better strikers look, we all lost a step between 25 and 32 or whatever. Okay.
A step?
I'm just saying, even the best of us,
I lost a step between fucking yesterday and today. Okay. I'd say I'm lost more than a step.
I'm just saying that she didn't,
I walked the dog today and hurt my back.
Had she, but we're going to be 40 this year, brother. I don't know that we want to talk about that, but let's just say hypothetically, had Ronda Rousey caught Holly Holm's arm, had she caught Holly sleeping, had Holly thrown a weird punch or something, or not stepped right or stumbled or something, Ronda would have tore her arm off if she'd had the chance. She didn't get the chance because Holly, like you said, is tremendous. But had she had an 1/8 of a second of the chance, she'd have tore Holly's arm off. But she didn't get that chance. Which is what a Holly Holm and just being the striker that Holly Holm is.
And she got her with the fucking head kick. Beat the fuck out of her.
Got her.
You know what I'm saying?
Caught her.
But I do believe that, the fact that and I don't know, but as somebody that's competitive by nature, right, I can only think that she thinks that because WWE fans talk shit about her, that her overall combat sports legacy is tainted because of what this is. And that's my opinion, that I think that she feels that way, right?
I mean,
and that's just my competitive piece.
I think she feels that in a way, and I think she's hurt by that. But I also think that, like, I don't know. I feel like she maybe is like, because you're right. I think she's overly competitive, and I think that she may soften in a way that, like, have you heard recent interviews with John Cena?
Yes.
Okay. The John Cena of today is a much softer, much more giving man. Now, John Cena's always been a good guy. Let's face it. Like, he's the record holder of the most, Make-A-Wish things ever. That'll never be touched for an eternity, because he's gonna do, like, he started doing it when he was young. He still does it. He's gonna do it until he passes away, and it's gonna be not only his current legacy, but his enduring legacy forever. But the John Cena of today is a much kinder, much softer, much more caring man than he was 10, 15 years ago. I think 10 or 15 years may soften Ronda Rousey to everything pro wrestling, especially. I think she's still in a very competitive MMA mindset, but I think that as time goes on and the more she dwells on it, she may see it as less of a combat thing and more of an entertainment thing, and more of it was right for the business that it happened this way. I'm going to stand here, and I think that everything that Ronda did ended up actually being right for the business. Whether or not it was her idea or what she wanted to happen, she played ball.
Yeah.
And I think,
but they fucked her, though. She shouldn't have been a fucking babyface.
She shouldn't.
She's a natural heel.
She is, but I think she also wanted to be a babyface. So I think they placated her a little bit, but also you're right. She's a natural heel. She would have been a tremendous heel.
I mean, she's been talking that shit fucking since she was an Olympian. Yeah. Like, let her go, bro.
Let her be a heel. It's like Charlotte Flair. Flair, clearly a better heel. Although when Charlotte comes back, I don't know if you've been watching her.
Hey, she's in rehab right now, bro. Like, she looking fucking good.
Okay,
she might be back by SummerSlam, pal.
So you've seen it, okay?
I was just getting ready to segue into it as soon as you brought her name up, because I wanted to touch base on her.
I'm not the biggest fan of Charlotte babyface, but
no.
As an Instagram follow, she is so goddamn inspirational. Like, we watched her tear her knee.
Finish a match, by the way.
Finish the match. Oh yeah, finish the match. And you know what? Still a pretty good match.
Yeah.
Let's not fuck around. Still a pretty good match. Finished the match and then go to rehab. Watched her do rehab. She fucking okay. Here's my undying love and respect for Charlotte Flair.
Is that you're a Charlotte, Mark, Tom? Okay, like, you can cut to the fucking point.
All right.
Here.
So on Instagram, Charlotte's not all made up. You see Charlotte in the gym, no makeup. She's
a real human being. That's Ashley Fleer that you're seeing on Instagram.
Just real human being in there, rehabbing her knee, working through it, pushing through the pain. Just so goddamn inspirational that, like, I mean, how could you, like, Charlotte Flair is one of the best athletes in my opinion in the world. Like, one of the most inspirational people I follow on Instagram. Yes, is she a better heel with a microphone in her hand in the ring, made up with the robe and with absolutely. She is much better heel, much easier to hate like that. But Ashley Fleer, the person, inspirational.
Absolutely. I'm good with that.
And I think that her legacy needs to reflect both of those. Awesome bad guy, inspirational human being. Fantastic.
So let's get ready to round out fucking night one here. We got 2 matches left on night one. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Dom and Santos Escobar. To me, this feels like they're using Dom to get Santos some heat. That's because those guys don't have enough heat, and I don't know if it's because the crowd's not buying what they're doing. I don't know, but I think they want Santos to be a big fucking
Dom.
deal. And I think that they're using Dominic Mysterio for that, as well as like the whole Rey Mysterio thing. And obviously, we've been having this Legado LWO thing going on for, I mean, the better part of fucking 4 or 5 months, right? You know, even whenever go all the way back to Santos being a part of the LWO. So I don't know. I mean, it's got a place, but I don't know that that's a WrestleMania caliber match.
I bet it'll open night 1.
I mean, that's what it's slated to do. But I mean, and then you got the 6-pack tag team ladder match. I mean, that'll be good. I guess the word on the street is that Pretty Deadly's going to get a shot in that. Maybe they'll get their just dues while they've been fucking jobbing to everybody, kind of paying their dues, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because they are phenomenal.
I love Pretty Deadly, but
they're a phenomenal tag team.
Yeah.
But I think whatever comes out of that, I think is going to be okay. The tag team division's hot right now.
Yeah.
You know,
that would have been that in back in our day when we were kids. That would have been what was basically the latter half of Monday night or Sunday Night Heat.
Yes, that's factual. And then the one that kind of surprises me but doesn't surprise me, and I'm really intrigued by it, is Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai Damage Control versus Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi.
They sort of set this up last week, and it felt cold when they did it.
Well, I mean, Bianca and Naomi have been doing this thing with Damage Control for what? I'd say better part of 4 weeks.
It's been a little touch and go, but yeah, I want to say 2 out of 4 weeks. It's been touch and go, but yeah.
And I mean, obviously, the big question on the internet's mind was, where is Jade? And then all of a sudden, she's on SmackDown, and now she's in a WrestleMania match.
I feel like
I will say this.
Training. I mean, so from a practical perspective, I feel like she's been training,
guaranteed.
And
she herself has said that she was green as goose shit.
That is what she said. Yeah,
and I think that her self-awareness in this is what's going to situate her to be a big star, with the E, because AEW had her presentation down. She just stunk. And I mean, so much so we left her main event match at a television taping to beat the traffic. Because she stunk. And like, she's a great.
And who she was wrestling also stunk, wasn't it? Her and Red Velvet or something like
that. Yes, and it was a TBS championship match.
It was like, all right, we know.
I mean, Red Velvet's obviously coming to her own here recently too. She's got rid of the cake batter gimmick. But I don't know, man. Like, I think from a presentation standpoint, Jade Cargill looked like a fucking $1 million on Friday night, bro.
Yeah, she did, and I think that absence has made the heart grow fonder as well.
Twice.
What
she said, give me 2. She said, give me 2 milli trips, because I look good tonight. Right? She looked like $1 million. And if they can capitalize on that, she actually learned how to be a fucking fantastic performer. I do know that in the little bit of physicality that she has had between the Royal Rumble and then obviously Friday for the first time, she looks far more crisp than she did in AEW.
She looks less stiff. In AEW, she always looked like she was like waiting for something, and it never looked.
And then her finisher, I don't remember. It used to be, wasn't it like Jaded or some shit in AEW? They're probably not going to call it that. It's probably the Storm is coming, or say it would be something with that.
It's what's Beth Phoenix's? It's that
the Glam Slam.
The Glam Slam. It's the Glam Slam.
I mean, she looked really. It looked really sharp. Kairi took it well. I mean, the internet's fucking eating it up because she was so straight faced when she was up there. She was just like, But like, I don't know, it looked good. She looked good. She looked really good, and she looked, she came off very strong in the Royal Rumble. She looked good in the Royal Rumble. I'm interested to see what she's got to offer. Clearly, they're still protecting her in a 6-woman tag. So they feel confident enough to put her on WrestleMania.
I think Bianca and Asuka are going to do most of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. I mean, obviously, we are both ginormous fans, and if Derek was here, he would co-sign on this. Ginormous fans of Asuka's body of work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dakota's probably still like
she looked good on Friday though.
She did, and she's going to take a few bumps, but they don't want to hurt her right away. I doubt that Dakota.
I don't want them to hurt her right away either.
I don't either.
I think she's got a lot of upside.
But I don't think they're going to put her in there. I think she and I think she's going to have. I think she's going to bump for. She's going to bump for Bianca because Bianca's super safe.
Yeah,
I think Dakota's going to bump for Bianca.
It's going to be fun.
I think Kyrie's going to bump for Jade, and then Asuka is going to do most of the heavy lifting. Otherwise, so I think that's how that's going to roll. But I think that everybody's going to come out of that smelling like roses. Really, I think we're going to remember why we like. I think we're going to remember why we like Kyrie so much because Kyrie takes amazing bumps and seems to be made.
She's going to fill that Sasha Banks void. Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Okay.
She's going to be treated.
You're such a fucking mark. Why are you such a mark?
Because I watch too much wrestling. It's literally on right now.
Like, gonna fill the Sasha Banks void.
You brought that up.
I did, but you fucking played right. Listen, I'm out here fishing, okay? I'm fishing for the big fucking.
We're out here fishing,
okay?
Get a fishing ball here.
I'm a professional angler over here. You're incredibly too smart. You are incredibly too intellectual for fucking simple traps like I catch Derek in. Okay, like I got to work hard to make you walk into these fucking traps. All right, so that I can fucking call you on your bullshit. This fucking guy. I am avoiding talking about CM Punk so much that I can't even fucking stand myself. So moving on to night 2. Obviously the main event, Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. We talked about that earlier, the implications in night 1's main event. We can't give you an opinion on this because we don't know what it's going to be, which I think is really fucking cool.
I'm just looking forward to both main events, really.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest with you, I'm looking forward to both of them. And maybe I'm being a mark and looking forward to both of them, but I'm just looking forward to both of them.
And listen, I think both nights have fucking great top 3 matches, right? Obviously, Jimmy and Jay, the women's match between Rhea and Becky, and then the fucking tag team match. Great top 3. I think we can both agree that those are going to be the top 3 matches of the night. Yes,
like they're going to tear it down.
As far as finishing the show,
as far as like match quality is concerned, it's going to be off the charts. 12 stars at the Silver.
So I don't want to get into this yet. I mean, we can. I guess we're talking about it. So Pat and I have been talking about this for fucking 9 months. Okay, like he kept saying, "Goldust is coming to WrestleMania, bro." I'm like, "No, Pat, he's not. He can't. It can't be." I'm telling you, man, he's going to be there. Right?
Why do you hate Gangrel?
Couple things will happen. Couple things will happen. Hey, man, Goldust is coming back at WrestleMania. And I'm like, Pat, that's it. Just, and this has been going on for a long time. Okay. Like 9 months. And I'm not exaggerating, Tom, when I tell you that this has been an ongoing conversation. So the other day I'm scrolling the fucking reels, right? And you get that thing from Dustin and he's like, "Hey, fuck The Rock." Right? And I'm like, "Oh no."
Oh no. Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh no, don't do that. No. Why are you doing that? So I send it to Pat, right? And he's like, "I fucking told you, Pat. I fucking told you. I told you. I've been telling you. How long I've been telling you? I fucking told you." And I'm like, "Nah, man, like it didn't." Right? And then Cody mentions him on TV fucking like 2 days later. He's like, "Oh, the last time the Shield lost in tag team was to the Rhodes brothers." And then he's talking about Stardust and like, I don't know, man. Pat might be on to something. And listen, if Pat is right and Cody shows up at Dustin shows up at WrestleMania, right? I will never hear the end of it.
No, you won't.
Like that's the most factual statement.
Yep, it'll be on your gravestone somewhere.
That's all right. Hey, Big Pat, just for the record, I didn't forget about trainer games, pal. Okay?
It's gonna be on. If he shows up, it's gonna be on your gravestone. That's just how it's gonna be. Pat's gonna outlive you specifically so it can show up on your gravestone. Like that's how it's gonna work. You could both live to be 110. Pat's gonna live one day longer than you to make sure that it ends up on your grave, or one day longer than your funeral, just so it ends up on your gravestone. I won't help you, Pat. If I outlive, I'm not going to outlive Walt. It's just not going to happen. But that's fine.
I don't know about all that, pal.
Well, I hope not. For my sake, not yours. I'm being selfish here. That being said,
I'm sorry. I was sending text messages.
What else we got going on? What else is happening?
Well, listen, I'm still trying to talk to you about night 2. Listen, I love how we said, like, hey, we're going to make this really quick, talking about night 2 and talking about WrestleMania card. And we are an hour and 6 in, and we are just starting night 2. However, I mean, we did weave some of our topics in there. We should be really proud of ourselves.
I'm so proud of ourselves.
Like,
we have two little huge things to talk about.
Like we have an A story and we have B stories right now. We're killing it. Okay. Gosh. That's called structure, and we should be fucking proud of ourselves.
I've always been proud of myself.
Io Sky versus Bayley. That ought to be a lot of fun. I mean,
that's the only one I'm confident Bayley's winning. Bayley's going to win. I'm not confident on any other result on any other match. Bayley's going to win that.
Yeah, I believe that too.
That's the only match I'm confident about. Everything else I have no confidence in. I have no idea who's going to win. That's the only one I'm confident about. And I'm going to cheer harder for that win than I am for any of the matches that I have no idea what the outcome's going to be.
Factual. It's going to be a fun weekend, bro. It's going to be a real fun weekend.
Very excited about it.
Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre with CM Punk on commentary.
So I'm pretty sure Drew. This is the one that I'm like teetering on. I'm pretty sure Drew's gonna win.
I have my own theory. When you're done,
I don't have a whole lot of theories. I'm pretty sure Drew's gonna win, but I'm also not like. I could be convinced otherwise. Let me put it that way. That's where I am right now.
So, I think CM Punk costs Seth Rollins the title. It just feels like that needs to be what it is.
I mean, that would be fun.
Drew wins, obviously. Gets in CM Punk's face, calls CM Punk out, blah, 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 something, something, something. And then Damian Priest cashes in.
Forgot about Priest.
You were supposed to.
Forgot about Damian Priest.
And then Punk in turn costs both of them the world championship in one night. And then he's got all the firepower in the world to fucking cut promos through the end of the year.
Oh, yeah. And then it doesn't matter who the champ is because three people paid his guts. Any three of them could be the title holder next year at WrestleMania, and he can beat them. That's great.
How fucking dope would that be?
That makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to argue. I have no arguments with that.
I'm going to be disappointed if it doesn't happen that way.
Now that you say that, so am I.
I've gassed myself up.
I wish you wouldn't have told me, because now I think that's what's going to happen. And if it's something stupid, I'm going to be like, this is stupid. God damn it! Like you're gonna get those texts from me, or maybe you'll be sitting next to me like, God damn it, Walt! I'll push you.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably make that happen.
Yeah, you'll be
I
sitting
took
next
the
to me.
weekend off.
I still have to figure out whom I have children wise. Where Adam's around too. He's in town for a little while, so we could drag him out too.
I might have to work on night one for a couple of hours, so that would probably be best for me.
Night one?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'll be up that way.
Maybe we'll make night one happen at my house then.
Because, like I said, I'll be up that way. So
Okay. I'll get back to you.
Sounds good. I'm glad I brought it up.
Yeah, that might actually make my life easier. I will discuss with you offline.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I think I'll be disappointed if it doesn't happen that way, but we'll see what happens.
No, I think I definitely will, unless something cool happens, like fucking the Undertaker shows up.
I mean, as long as he's not wrestling.
No. Just like he just needs to give people choke slams and stuff, and then like leave, or like go.
He's got. Listen, he said that the Dead Man character's gone. He'll never appear as the Dead Man in WWE again.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't care. He shouldn't show up then, because that's all I want to see.
He's just going to show up like that, as he went out at that, the pre-tape, the Boneyard match, just as Mark Calloway Undertaker, just badass biker dude with dark,
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, I watched WrestleMania 8 this week because it was a Bruce Pritchard episode, and like I was like, oh man, fucking Undertaker and Jake Roberts, I'm fucking into that. And Piper and Bret Hart wrestled for the Intercontinental Championship on that show too. I'm into that. Bro, the Undertaker at WrestleMania 8 had like one forearm tattoo. It was wild.
And weird purple gloves.
No, he had the gray gloves. This was still early. I think WrestleMania 8 was like 93. So he didn't go purple gloves until like 96, whenever he got his face fucking broke.
That's right. After Mabel. It was Mabel. It was after Mabel won King of the Ring, which was 90. No, I feel like that would have been the following year, 94, right?
I'm looking it up right now.
Because Stone Cold won 96, so it was 92. It was 92.
WrestleMania 8 was 92. So King of the Ring, that would have been 96. No, Stone Cold was 96.
Yeah, Stone Cold was 96. So
98?
No, that couldn't.
No, that's too late. That's
too
incredibly
late.
too
late. It was 92, maybe it was 94.
That sounds better.
94 sounds right, because it would have been well before Stone Cold. At least 2 years pre Stone Cold. With the purple gloves.
Friend of the show, Pat Martin, giving you some love.
Pat gives me love because I have some sort of semblance of when things happened in time.
No, that's been sitting there for a little while. It's just because he gets, he understands that you get us.
Oh yeah.
But moving on, I think Logan Paul, KO, and Randy Orton. This doesn't need to be a three-way. I think you could have made this match Logan Paul versus either of these guys, and it would have been better.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that.
However, let me interrupt you real quick. I just want to let you know that I called this in January that KO and Logan Paul had WrestleMania legs, and I'm fairly certain you told me I was crazy.
I just didn't think he was going to stick around, but then he stuck around and he kept showing up. So
he's signed a full-time contract now.
Apparently, look, in my mind, I'm still used to it. Things being a Vince McMahon legs are short thing, especially with guys like Logan Paul, who are not necessarily night in, night out guys, but that's a me problem. I need to get past that. I need to get past the guy who can't hold his bowels over top of his girlfriend's head.
Oh, that's good shit, pal. Oh, literally, boss. Anywho, moving on. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. I think they've done a good job with this build from Elimination Chamber. I like the old school going to his house, and
I like they keep bringing it up. It's good stuff. I don't like that they've already done this with AJ though.
In TNA though, they did this too.
They did this. Samoa Joe did it.
Samoa Joe, yeah.
Like it's just I feel like this is a beaten horse in WWE.
I feel like AJ needs to move.
Yeah, AJ. Everybody fucking knows where AJ lives. Maybe he needs to move a little bit. Like,
well, my guess is he's probably got the biggest house on the tallest hill in Gainesville, Georgia.
Yeah, seriously.
And he's like really easy to find.
Yeah, it's like that's the house that AJ Styles built. How can you tell? It's the only one there. It's the biggest one. He hasn't fucking moved.
Bro, you just popped me hard and you didn't even know why.
I know. Because it's the house that AJ Styles
built. My God. Got me.
Got him. Got him with water in his mouth.
And then I swear to God, I hope that Triple H is smart enough to open WrestleMania with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, or LA Knight and AJ Styles.
Either one of those is great. Yes.
Because if he opens WrestleMania with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, who are now calling themselves the Pride, against Kevin and the Wet Bandits, WrestleMania is fucking doomed.
Like, that's a piss break, right? Because this shit is nonsense. Like, this is bad. Like, I'm not the only one that thinks that this is a shit idea, right? Like,
that's terrible.
This whole everything, like, this is shit. This is garbage.
It's hot garbage.
Like, this is
and like we've been so critical of Kevin because, and listen, I've got another buddy of mine, super casual fan, right? So he sends me a TikTok this week of Kevin breaking a baseball bat with his hooks. He wraps his hooks in and he fucking hooks the bat. And like, it's a really nice wooden baseball bat. And he squeezes it and it just fucking cracks in half, right?
Sure.
Kudos to Kevin, because that's no easy fucking feat, and he's a monster. So he sends me this video, and I instantly reply back, too bad he's fucking waste of space now. And he goes, yeah, man, what is happening? I said, he's a shell of who he was in NXT. He was like, bro, he was a fucking killer in NXT.
He looked like he'd kill your family before.
He goes, what? He goes, what happened to him? I said, Vince McMahon happened to him. And then he lost all credibility with all of us.
He was like, TikTok. And we're like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Get a watch.
But he did that TikTok shit in fucking NXT, but it mattered then.
Because he'd actually win matches. Must have been fun when he was winning matches. Has he won a match this year?
Yeah. No. He hasn't had any. He just sneak attacks Bobby Lashley.
That's right. He sneak attacks Bobby Lashley, and Paul Ellering stands there. This is the face Paul Ellering makes now. That's the only face he has left.
You know what's hilarious though? So I told you I was watching WrestleMania 8 earlier, right? At WrestleMania 8, Paul Ellering made his WWF debut.
With the
Legion of Doom. They brought him in later on because the Legion had been there for a little while. So they brought Paul Ellering in at WrestleMania 8. He made his WWF debut. That's funny.
Bet he didn't make this face.
No, but he cut a really, really good Paul Ellering LOD promo.
Why does nobody give Paul Ellering the microphone? I don't feel like
he had it a couple of weeks ago on a vignette, and it wasn't very good. So he need not let WWE's writers write words for him.
Just give him a live mic. Just give him a live mic and let him see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm just curious now.
I'm fairly certain that Karrion Kross is a Triple H passion project.
They must be buds.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, dude, Triple H was the force behind Karrion Kross in NXT.
Yeah.
And I think Triple H knows that Vince shot all of Karrion Kross' credibility in the foot. And he's trying to let him do other things. But it's just not working for us, brother. And if anybody is trying to say that this is good,
I don't know anybody that thinks this is good. Like, this is the piss match. I hope it's not first, because I'm not gonna have to piss right when I turn the thing on. I'm gonna have to piss at like 9:30. Can this go on at 9:30? Because that's when I'm gonna need to take a pee break, and it can go 10 minutes. I'm gonna take a pee. I'll get a snack. I'll pour a beer. Maybe I'll have to poop. I don't know. Sometimes I have to poop. And I'm happy to poop at 9:30 during WrestleMania, and I feel like that'll be fine. So maybe it can be the poop break match. I don't know, but that's fine if they want to give me a 10-minute break, because I don't give a shit about anybody in this match. I don't give a shit. Like, I could not care less about it. I can't give you 6 men in the WWE who I care less about at this exact moment in time. They don't exist. I care more about Matt Cardona than I care about any of the 6 men in this match.
Yeah, that sucks. Because, like, I mean, Razor and Akam, like, okay. Right.
I mean,
Kevin still has untapped, unlimited potential. I mean, I'll eat crow if he unlocks it. But this ain't it.
They were way closer before. This
ain't it.
This is far away from that.
And like, I think Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits and BFAB, I think that faction's got legs. But
I mean, it's gonna win. They're gonna win, right?
They got to get away from fucking Kevin and the Wet Bandits.
I mean, they got to win, right? Like, they have to win.
There's no way that anybody wins in this. I mean, this has got to be a screwed finish.
No, this has to be like a dominant, like the only way this makes any sense is if Bobby Lashley and the Prophet come out and lay waste to everybody. Like, that's the only way this makes sense.
But they're not going to do that.
They're not, because
they're not going to do that to Kevin and AOP.
I mean, if they don't, but that's the only way this makes sense, because then everybody leaves this, and like, God, is it just me? Or do the Authors of Pain look? They just look like tall, fat guys that run like convenience stores to me now, right? Like, they don't look like they can hurt anybody. They look like they're
like not as like they. I wouldn't say that they were well-defined big men, right? But like, they're not as well-defined. I don't think they look as intimidating, and maybe it's because like we as smart fans have come to see through the fact that they can't work.
No, they can't work.
Maybe that's a part of why
they look super blown up in little snippets too. It just doesn't look
like they're never going to be a work rate. I mean, for fuck's sake, when they were so dominant in NXT, I don't think they were in the ring longer than fucking 4 minutes.
No.
Like, I mean, and now we're asking them to go fucking 8, 9, 10-minute segments, and it's just they're not there. They're conditioning, and it's noticeable, right? Fix that, and let's like crispen up some of our 5 moves of doom, and make me believe it. I'll buy in.
But by the time they even get to their finishing move, where they do the little
trash compactor,
yeah. By the time they even get to that, they look like they're just sucking wind, and like, they got guys holding on to their heads because they can't hold them up. They're so out of breath, and they're just the Street Profits are athletic. Those guys have put in the time and the work, and they have the
Dawkins
stamina.
especially.
Right, Dawkins especially.
Montez Ford is he's a star waiting to happen.
He's a machine.
It's his own fault that he's in this situation, though, because he didn't want to leave Dawkins behind. Good for him, though.
I hate that they punished him for it. I really do. Because that's all this can be looked at as is a punishment, right?
No, I mean, he turned Vince down.
He did.
So
might have cost his wife a title too. They turned Vince down. If you think about it,
that's fucked up. But listen, overall, I think
I'm not agreeing with it. I think it's bullshit. But I'm just saying.
Overall, though, I think both nights of WrestleMania are going to be pretty fucking good. And then, obviously, we talked about the mystery slot. I believe that Stone Cold is going to play some sort of factor in the tag team match on night one, maybe even John Cena. John Cena has already publicly said that he plans on being in Philadelphia that weekend. And then there's obviously the conspiracy theory behind The Rock bloodying up Cody in front of the 18-wheeler or by the 18-wheeler, whatever, that had Stone Cold and John Cena's face on it. And by all accounts on the internet, that was not by accident. Eric Bischoff even said that it looked very well lit for being a dark, rainy parking lot. But, I mean, it was supposed to be a set. And I think that the rain really added to that whole thing. Made Cody look much, much worse than he really was. Good on WWE using blood in the right way on television.
They earned it.
Very proud of them. Very proud of them. And Cody, too, he was like, he made a promise that he just simply can't keep. And now that, like, we know what happens, you go back, he looks at Cody and he says, tonight I'm going to make you bleed. And everybody's like, oh, my God, what did he say? What did he say? What did he say? What did he say?
It was great.
It was great. Great piece of business. The build has been phenomenal. And there's rumors even going on that coming out of WrestleMania that Rock and Cody might be a program. So how was he, my original thing was, oh, well, he's going to cost Roman the championship. They're going to win on night one, and then he's going to cost Roman the championship. But I don't see how that's plausible at this time. I don't really know. Maybe that's the type of deflection that we've learned to become accustomed to the internet wrestling community from WWE under Triple H's reign. I love that they play us through the internet dirt sheets. I love it.
It's one of those things where it's like once the internet became a thing and like everybody got to be marks and it was like, well, we know what's going to happen. And who's going to win? What's going to happen? And like, I love that they've made particularly Brian Alvarez like irrelevant because they can't just like spoil everything anymore. I love it. It's so great. It's great all the time.
You know what else is great, Bub? When some idiot hands Phil Brooks a live microphone and then proceeds to ask him probing questions about his recent adventures in pro wrestling. Hey, so this is clearly an April Fool's joke. And I feel the need to interrupt this beautiful segue that I just had to do this because it's fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't.
It says Vince McMahon is set to induct Paul Heyman into the WWE Hall of Fame.
I'd still watch, but that's.
No, it's clearly like that's not even real.
Here comes the man.
That's not even real.
No.
So obviously, we touched on this earlier. Phil did a shoot interview today.
Sure did.
And I don't know enough about it to speak of it enough. I have a bunch of headlines here.
I've read it and watched it.
See, I haven't watched it yet. It just didn't fit into my timeline today.
It's only like 3 minutes. The portion we want to talk about is really only like 2 or 3 minutes long.
Well, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of portions here that carry some weight. I think that you want to talk about the Jack Perry stuff more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, because that's just your thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, because you want to talk about the money mark and you want to do this and you want to do that. But what I want to touch on is something that I think that you may have maybe glossed over in your venomous nature.
All right, well, you start. I'm going to grab something.
When it comes to fucking Tony Khan and his ability to run a show. So CM Punk says that AEW is not a real business. It's not about making money or selling tickets. He thinks it's about having great matches. I mean, maybe. He says that this is not sustainable business for television. And I think Tom and I come in here and we talk about this week after week after week, right? And it's like, it's a great live event. It's a lot of fun. We have a blast when we go to AEW shows. Even if the in-ring action isn't great, the environment is always just next level fun. And you can't help but become immersed in what's happening in front of you. There's been 2 or 3 occasions that we've gone to AEW live shows, and just it's been the greatest night ever. And then you go home that night and you watch the show back because you've recorded it and you're fucking stupid. You're Mark, and you want to see how did I see myself on TV? Not myself on TV, right? You want to be able to do that. And the show that we thoroughly enjoyed, very live and in person and just vibing and having a great time and suspending that disbelief, is piss poor on television. So I think the fact that Punk addresses this in this interview, Tom, kind of just really drives home what we've been talking about for the better part of the last 2 years. As far as this isn't sustainable business and the ratings are suffering and now like ticket sales are suffering.
Did you see the picture of them? You sent it actually, because you're the one that it's just the crowd around the ring.
Yeah. I mean, and
like the first few rows,
you know, and generally when like we bounce those pictures back and forth in our group message, a lot of times those are pre-show things. You know, and we don't read too much into it. We love whenever like the IWC shares like pictures of pre-show pictures, like where there's nobody in the crowd except for the fucking marks that are down there hoping that somebody's going to be standing ringside and they're going to snipe an autograph or, you know, or a cop a feel or whatever the fuck it is that they're doing. Will Ospreay's standing on the fucking ramp.
Sure
in the picture that I shared
with his entrance music blowing. It says Will Ospreay,
and like there's like 15 people. I've seen more people at a fucking Real Shoot Wrestling show here in fucking town than I saw in that picture in fucking Quebec.
I mean, I think the problem is too that in the whole sense of it is that, and we've talked about it before, is that not only are they not doing great, like not only does it not matter, like it's hard to watch a whole show. Like you can watch snippets of it and be like, well, this 15-minute portion was good, but that's it for that show. But like, you know, it's becoming a like they're pricing everybody out. Even when WWE sucked balls, right? Like even when it was at its worst, right? They weren't closing off sections of the more expensive tickets. They were just dropping the prices. And we would go for $20 when it came to Pittsburgh. Even when they were dog shit shows. We paid $20.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I bought fucking $10 tickets to the fucking Wheeling Civic Center for a fucking WWE house show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Just to be there to go and enjoy myself.
Right. But they're pricing us all out of this shit because we look to go, and I know I've told the story before, but we all look to go, and they kept closing shit off. Like we're not allowed to buy the $20 tickets. We wanted to bring 5 people. We wanted to spend $100, right?
Yeah, but they didn't want us. They didn't want to have to in turn if we bought 5 to 8 tickets, whatever it was that we were going to take. They didn't want to in turn have to upgrade us because we bought the cheap seats. So they just started closing the cheap seats down, which in turn made us not purchase them. And then
we didn't go.
Now, granted, that show that we're talking about was a Collision, and it was up against Survivor Series, in which CM Punk did make his return. And I think there was in the Pete's generally set up for about 8 or 9 whenever we go for AEW.
Yeah.
And it was set up for
usually close that top.
Yeah.
That top section.
Because I think the Pete holds 13, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's like 12 to 13, something like that. I mean,
probably
it's a
14 for wrestling.
It's a decent sized basketball venue.
Right.
Collegiate basketball venue. And I mean, the Pitt Panthers used to be a fucking perennial NCAA powerhouse in basketball when they built that building.
And it's a nicely remodeled building.
Yes. So it's a great building. But it still feels very intimate, and you have a lot of fun at an AEW show.
Lots of nice balcony space.
But they priced us out of tickets that we were able to buy in previous years that we paid more money for in previous years because the product was hotter.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at seats in the middle bowl of the arena that we paid in the first time that AEW came to Pittsburgh. We paid $85 a piece for like $15 a piece. And then they closed us off.
Yeah.
So like this continues to be a problem. And Tom, you and I have talked about this over and over and over and over and over again. And finally, at one point, late last year, Q4 last year, it might have been like November, Derek finally fucking saw the light and he agreed with us. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Punk's saying that he's just worried about good matches. We've been talking about that for a very, very long time. Tony Khan's wet dream is what we call it here on the show.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem with what I was bringing up earlier about the Adam Copeland stuff, is that we got a great surprise cold match that, quite frankly, made my Saturday. I was so excited to see it. I was so high off of seeing the match and excited about it. But at the same time, it was in front of probably 4,000 people. It was cold and nobody really watched it on TV. It was probably like 300,000 people watched Collision.
So Tom, I need to interject here because I think that we're at a critical junction of our show here, and I think we maybe need to make a mutual decision here. So we're at an hour and 37 minutes. Okay, we still have the Cody Rhodes contract extension to discuss, and what that means for WWE coming as the main event of this show. We can gloss over CM Punk and go right into Cody, or we can continue to deep dive on CM Punk and then still talk about Cody Rhodes.
Well, let's get to the meat of CM Punk. I feel like that's really what we need to do here. We have to talk about what he said specifically about Brawl Out. Or no, not Brawl Out, whatever the
London. So I have that piece of business right here. So CM Punk went into depth about how he feels about the end of his AEW career. Okay. And I think that this is where we're at. Obviously, London was kind of the catalyst for what led to CM Punk's eventual firing. And Tony Khan.
He quit. That's what he said in the interview. Is that he said that he quit. He went back to his locker room.
I mean, that's his version of it.
Sure,
I mean, he was publicly fired via a press release. Okay, and he's entitled to him saying, "Hey, just because they said I was fired, I quit. I stuck it to the man," because that's Phil's MO. Okay, he did the same fucking thing to Vince and WWE. So miss me with that bullshit.
Sure. Okay. I'm just saying that's what we were talking about.
Listen, when an employee walks off of a job, they always tell everybody they quit. All right. And on the flip side of things, the job always says they fired the employee.
Fair.
That's business jargon. That's exactly what this is. Okay. CM Punk calls it very irresponsible that the company to leave talent stranded at the airport, referring to nobody picking him up in London at All In. leaving him to take the subway. He said he had a great time on the subway, and it was an adventure, but it was still very irresponsible of AEW to leave him stranded. So he was already pissed off going to the arena, okay?
Sure, absolutely.
Because this to me sounds like entitled Phil that
Absolutely.
we've been so very critical of.
Because he's the star, and he referred to himself as the biggest star.
I mean, and he's not. He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. And it's easy for us to sit now. Who's the Phil apologist? But it's easy for us to sit here and armchair quarterback that because he was the biggest star at that time, right?
He was. I mean, absolutely, he was. He's the guy that he's the guy that had the biggest gates. He's the guy that he did it. It was him.
So he goes on to say that he politely asked Jack Perry to not use real glass, but Perry had an issue because he went on to make the comment at All In.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
and Phil choked the guy. He didn't hit anybody. He choked the guy.
Punk says that Jack Perry came to the back and asked Punk what he was going to do about it. Punk says he did not punch anyone. He just choked someone a little.
He just choked him a little. That's all. Just a little bit of choking. And Samoa Joe told him to stop.
Right. And then he goes on to say that CM Punk said that Tony Khan's big idea was a separate show to separate everybody so that they could continue to coexist because he had asked for his release and Tony Khan denied it.
Right.
So Tony Khan just fucking putting some more gunpowder in the keg with a lit cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He says it would never work and just to release him, but Tony refused. He said Punk feels that AEW is trying to slander him and ruin his reputation. Says that Tony Khan is not a real boss, but he's a real nice guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
I mean, I've been saying that for years. He's softer than puppy shit.
You have been. And I mean, that's the truth of the matter is that.
Is that the truth of the matter? I mean, this is Punk's view.
I mean, buddy, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, is it not a duck?
Quack. I mean, it might be a goose. Gooses walk and talk like ducks, but they're geese.
Geese are fucking mean, though.
They are fucking mean. I had an encounter one at the golf course last week. Oh, buddy.
You want to have a golf club in your hand. Ooh. And that goose wasn't afraid.
No, not at all. He fucking...
He'd have fucked you up, man. If you didn't have a golf club, he'd have fucked you up.
He's fucking hissing at me. Oh, he still charged me. I fucking staved him off, though, with my putter. I fucking gave him one right on the beak, and he wasn't having it. Listen, bitch, I'm putting this birdie. You understand me? I worked hard to get here.
I'd have got an iron out.
I worked hard to get here in three.
I'd have got an iron that I'm not good enough to use out, and I'd have fucking whacked the shit out of that goose.
Well, here's the thing. So it was a long par. It was a long par 5.
Video games.
It was a long par 5. I hit a really good fucking tee shot. I hit a phenomenal second shot, and I had a little poke in, right? Little poke in. So I just fucking bumped it, right? I mean, it was maybe a 6-foot putt for birdie. Okay, perfect hole. I played it fucking so well. Well, when I took my second shot, my third shot. No, my second shot. There wasn't no geese there. When I took my third shot, they had started to congregate over from the other hole where the lake was. I said, these motherfuckers, they're on a fucking green. So I poke it up there. Fucking hits right next to a couple of them. Fucking right. I'm like, oh, this ain't going to be good.
You pissed them off.
Nothing good's going to come from this.
No.
So I started to walk up to my ball, and the big motherfucker, he's like, right? I got my putter over my shoulder because I'm trying to look big because I know that this motherfucker is mad.
He's spread out. You got to spread out a little bit too.
So I start walking towards him because he's fucking standing in front of my ball like it's a fucking egg. You know what I mean? I got my putter on my shoulder. And he's like, making all these fucking weird goose sounds. I took my putter, and my buddy's like, oh, man, fuck it. Leave that ball there. fuck that. I'm like, no, man, I'm putting this fucking birdie.
I hit that ball too well for this goose to stop me.
Okay. If I got to fucking hit a bird before I hit this birdie putt, I'm going to do it. So I'm walking across the green. I fucking stick my putter out, right? And I'm talking shit. I'm like, go ahead, motherfucker. Go ahead. Right? He fucking takes one of these at me, right? And as soon as he did it, I jammed my fucking putter, hit him in the beak. And his buddy was like, oh, we're out of here, pal. You have fucking fun with this. His buddies fucking started walking the other way. I'm like, go ahead, man. Do it again. Right? He's still hissing at me, wings all spread out. I fucking just jabbed it at him again. He was like, all right, I'm fucking out of here. Then I missed the fucking putt. I went through all that for nothing.
All that to miss. He got you too worked up.
I ended up getting a goddamn bogey because I fucking sent it 12 fucking feet the opposite direction.
He succeeded. His terrorist attack succeeded. Asshole.
So
let's talk about Cody Rhodes, because Punk was right. As far as being a CM Punk apologist, being a Phil apologist, I think Punk's right. Tony Khan, probably a nice guy, not a boss. And why are you doing this TV shit, Jack Perry? Or why are you doing this non-TV shit on TV? Whatever the fuck he said. It's just not okay. It's not okay. What they ought to do in AEW is stop being idiots and maybe put on
flashes of them not being idiots.
Huh?
There's flashes of them not being idiots.
There aren't, though, because like all the time we're like, oh, only a non-idiot. Only this would be great if they weren't stupid and they could do this and it wouldn't be stupid, and then they do the stupid thing every time.
Hold it down.
Go pee. All right, I'm going to go to town about why this is stupid with AEW. So with AEW, what they've done is they did all of the stupid shit. They were like, so they did the smart thing at first, right? It was the flash in the pan that Walt was talking about doing the smart thing. They brought him back. They were like, we're not going to release you. We're going to have two separate shows. It's going to be great. We sold it for TBS or TNT, and you're going to be on Collision. You're going to get Collision. Collision's going to be great. It's going to be pro wrestling, and we're not going to do this stupid indie bullshit. We're going to do all the right things, and everything's going to be good. And then Jack Perry decides that he wants to break the glass of a rental car, and it's the boys screwing over the boys, which is how CM Punk put it. And I know I'm a CM Punk apologist, but it's fine. And when he told him, don't do it, don't break it, don't break the glass of a rental car, that's dumb. So he doesn't. He's like, okay, cool. But then I guess whomever his friends are, he's friends with, the Bucks and whomever else. And he just decides that, he's going to do it. And he talks some shit on the pay-per-view. And then, he and CM Punk get into an altercation. And Tony Khan loses his cash cow, his prized possession, the golden calf, the goose that lays the golden egg. Now we were just talking about geese, and CM Punk is the goose that lays the golden egg, and Tony Khan lost the goose that lays the golden egg, and it's all Jack Perry's fault. So WrestleMania 40 is Jack Perry's fault.
We did have that conversation offline a couple of weeks ago,
but
in the group message.
It still is. It's CM Punk at WrestleMania 40 is Jack Perry's fault, and WrestleMania 41 is going to be Jack Perry's fault.
Yeah, but imagine if CM Punk wouldn't have gotten hurt at the Rumble and would have beaten Seth Rollins on night one. Like I think he addressed that was the original plan.
He did.
Right?
That was the plan. Absolutely.
Had beaten Seth Rollins on night one at WrestleMania. That would have been Jack Perry's fault.
That would have been Jack Perry's fault. Jack Perry's just really lucky that that's not what happened. Although, you know what? Jack Perry's wrestling career is probably done in America anyway. Because he's not. Huh?
He's a scapegoat.
He's not going to work for AEW. He's certainly not going to work for WWE.
No.
It's over. It's over for him. Well, I hope he has fun in Japan.
Listen, he's the type of performer that Japan will eat up. Like,
I love it.
And the American New Japan wrestling audience will eat up. Like, he's going to be living his best life. He's going to be
I am not worried for Jack Perry. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, no.
I hope that he and Anna Jay continue, and they have a great relationship, and he has a great wrestling career in Japan, and that all is well.
How did he pull her? She's like 11 out of 10.
I mean, maybe he's got a third leg. Who knows?
Oh, well, that could be.
I mean, he's not that tall, so it's not that,
He's just a little guy.
I mean, it could be a kickstand. We don't have to. Speaking of a guy, just a little guy. Offline, we'll get that.
Okay. So Cody Rhodes signed a contract extension this week. WWE.
Sure did.
I have not seen that we've been privy to the details. Have you seen that?
I actually tried Googling it a little bit ago.
All he said was that his dreams of being done when he was 40 seems to be a thought of the past. Something along those lines he tweeted out this week.
Means it's a long contract.
Because, I mean, what is he? He's like 34? 35? Is he our age?
No. He's younger than we are. Hold on.
38.
38. Okay. He's almost our age.
So, I mean, it's got to be, I'd say, at least a 5-year extension.
It's definitely a 5-year extension.
Which is fascinating. Right? Because we've already had him for 3 years that we didn't think we were going to have him for.
It's probably 5 years and $3 million a year.
Easy, right? Like easy.
If it's 5 years, it's probably a $20 million contract. There was probably an upfront signing, and then
he's the Netflix era John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, and he's gonna be. I mean, Netflix signed him. Really, that's what they paid for.
They signed him and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins.
Yeah, that's what they paid for.
That's what they paid for.
And Seth Rollins and Gunther and Drew McIntyre and a few other people, because Drew just signed a deal too.
Yes. So that's good, because I was starting to really kind of get a little concerned about that, and then I think the disarray of the AEW product kind of lended some credence to the fact that, like, hey, Drew's gonna get this deal done.
Yeah. It's not them pastures ain't looking so green. Those pastures are looking a little yellow.
Yes.
If we're being honest, right?
Not good. At least for somebody the caliber of Drew McIntyre's star.
Yeah.
And
if you're Sting and you're going to sign a $10 million 2-year deal, but if you're not Sting, no.
You got to go visit the money mark, and you got to do all those things, and it is what it is. He's just CM Punk kind of clarified the things that we've been saying for a couple of years, and it feels good to be validated a little bit. I mean, at least according to Phil's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't feel like I don't know.
I mean,
what does Phil have to lie about?
He doesn't. I mean,
he does.
But at this point, like, if you're not, but you've seen everybody else. You've seen what happened to everybody else too. It's not just him. Like, if everybody, like, if Malachi Black.
That's not Malachi Black.
It's not Aleister Black.
It's Aliester.
If Aliester if Malachi Black was a huge star and not clearly sort of a disgruntled patient, and if Miro was not a kind of semi-disgruntled patient, and if John Moxley wasn't some weird all over the place, not top guy,
couldn't help yourself, could you?
Sure couldn't. Look, if it wasn't so wishy-washy and all over the place, there's arguments to be made. There were arguments to be made in the first 3 years. I don't feel like those arguments exist anymore.
No.
It's not a greener pasture necessarily. No. I feel like the last few casualties are probably Jay White, Will Ospreay and Okada. Will Ospreay and Okada were paid. They were offered millions more. They were probably offered a $2 million deal in WWE, and it's probably a $5 million deal in AEW. It's for longer time, but it's so much more money, and it's probably guaranteed.
Guaranteed, it's guaranteed.
Yeah. So $5 million guaranteed is better than $2 million with contingencies.
Yeah,
and it just is what it is. But if you're not Will Ospreay and you're not Okada
or Chris Jericho.
I mean, Chris Jericho is Chris Jericho.
I mean, unless you're Cody Rhodes, and then you're cashing in on WWE money. Plus, his merchandising revenue is fucking through the roof.
Oh, for sure. Cody Rhodes is making Roman Reigns money. Like Cody Rhodes is. I said this earlier today. Like, if you're Cody Rhodes, you're getting booked better than 99% of all the wrestlers of all time. Like, only maybe Hulk Hogan has been booked better than you. Roman Reigns has been booked better than you recently, but like had to pay a lot more dues prior to that.
I mean, for fuck's sake, he got booed out of arenas.
I'm just saying, there are a handful of people who have had better booking than you have right now of all time. Your father was not booked as well as you're being booked right now. Ever.
Neither was his brother.
Even when he was in fucking charge, even when Dusty was in charge, Dusty wasn't getting booked better than Cody's getting booked. Like who's been booked better than Cody Rhodes?
That actually might be a valid point, pal.
That's absolutely a valid point. Who's getting booked better than Cody Rhodes? Maybe Triple H got booked a little better than Cody Rhodes. Maybe like fucking Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior. Is that the list? That's probably the list.
The Rock,
Stone Cold. Like that's like you're on.
I mean,
that
he's in like
you're in top 10 categories there.
Yeah,
You're in top 10 territory here.
Like he's got the way that things are going right now, and the way that like he's being booked and he's executing too. Let's not take anything away from the performances that he's putting forth. But like he's got like Mount Rushmore potential.
I'm just saying he's getting top 1% treatment here. And in AEW, he was Dolph Ziggler.
And the fans were booing him out of the building.
And he was Dolph Ziggler. He was the gatekeeper.
He did that to himself, though.
He did. But I'm just saying, it's like, you get top 1% booking, or you get Dolph Ziggler booking. Like, whoa, what am I gonna do? I don't know. Should I be Hulk Hogan? Should I be Dolph Ziggler? What are we, drunk? What are we on? Drugs?
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here. Like, let's just go. Get booked like Hulk Hogan, not like Dolph Ziggler. What the fuck?
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes perfect sense. And I'm really excited. So that leads us to the question of the night, Tom. Is Cody Rhodes the future of WWE?
Absolutely. At least for the next 5 years, probably the next 10.
Is he like the new age Bret Hart?
I think it's going to end better for him than it ended for Bret Hart.
Facts. Well, Goldberg's not around anymore.
That's a low bar, unfortunately.
He's just busy running around talking shit about Asuka these days. I don't know, man. I think he's definitely got potential to be that guy for a long time.
He's only 38. He's in great shape. I mean, he could work till he's 50 and be fine.
Bro, do you remember like when he was like at the tail end of his AEW career, just like, man, this fucking guy is just a waste of fucking space. Like, what is he doing?
Well, that's what it was. It was like he was Dolph Ziggler. It was just he was the gatekeeper, and he was losing.
Jeffrey Penis.
He was Jeffrey Penis. He was losing on Wednesdays. That's all he was doing.
And then all the chatter started. Oh, Cody Rhodes is a free agent. We're like, he's not fucking going anywhere, man. Like, he helped build this fucking company. And then he makes the Instagram post. I'm about to take fucking wrestling fans on a wild ride. And then I cut the video that's in the archives here.
Sure is.
That said Cody Rhodes is the most powerful man in pro wrestling. And that still holds true today. Like, there's not a bigger deal in pro wrestling right now than Cody Rhodes. I mean, Roman Reigns is definitely 1A. The Rock is 1B. Cody Rhodes is 1C. Seth Rollins is 2.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre's 3. CM Punk is like 6 right now because he's hurt. But, like, WWE is fucking it, right?
They have everybody.
And then they just locked down the biggest star in the game for an additional 5 to 10 years.
And they locked down Seth Rollins, and they locked down Drew McIntyre, and they locked down because Seth just signed a new deal too. We didn't hear about that because Seth was when they dismissed it when they were like, "Oh, you only have 6 months left on your contract." Seth was like, "I'm not going anywhere. We're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be fine." And they did. They locked down. Seth's gonna stick around. Yeah, there was a little back and forth with Drew. Okay, that was the only one that had any drama involved. But let's face it, when there was drama involved, Drew was like in the main event every night. So they rolled out the red carpet for him and just, treated him like a king. And he signed the contract, and he's still fucking killing it every fucking week. He's still out there killing it. He's running all the. It's just they have all the stars, and every week AEW stars seem to like let more air out of their tires, and I don't know what AEW is going to do. I just don't. Like, they've got Swerve and Samoa Joe, which they're about to use again.
I think Swerve wins this time.
I think so too.
I'm interested in that. I'd like to see Swerve as world champion.
I'm not saying that's wrong. Look, they've got Swerve, they've got Samoa Joe. I'm interested in that. They've got Toni Storm, who continues to knock it out of the park despite like everything surrounding her. She's like, every time she's on screen, it's like, this is the best segment of the night. She's still tremendous. It's fantastic.
How about her kissing Mariah May this week and then smelling the belt? Hilarious.
Oh my God. Buddy, that segment, like, that was the best segment of the show. That was the best segment of the show. Like, she's so good every single time. And I don't know if she's booking that. I don't know who's booking her, but whomever it is should book the rest of the show.
It's Luther.
Okay, if it's Luther, then he should book the rest of the show because that's the best segment every single time. And I don't know if he can recreate that magic with every segment of the show, but clearly they should at least ask his opinion.
Hey, bruv. We've come to that point in time of the show. Bruv. Hey, bruv. Thomas, what was your match of the week?
So it was actually Adam Copeland versus Matt Cardona.
I am not surprised in this.
You shouldn't be, because God, it popped me. It gave me the goosebumps. I have to give AEW props when they have props to give, because this is why I feel like AEW should exist. For something like this, when it's like, hey, you Mark, here's your Mark match if you want. Surprise. And I just catch it, and I'm like, oh my God. And I got, what? And I'm like, that's Matt Cardona. And Ashley looked at me and she goes, who? And I was like, okay, so he was Zack Ryder in WWE, and when he was in WWE, he was an edgehead. Why is that stupid? That's stupid. Okay, but at the time, it wasn't stupid. He was basically Edge's protege, and during the time, blah, 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 and you just rattle off all this.
Yeah, you just give the recap.
Right, and they just put on this banger of a match, right? because both guys are in phenomenal shape and at the top of their game, and they put a banger match for like 20 minutes. And like, you're like, holy shit, is Matt Cardona gonna fucking squash Edge right now? Is that about to happen? But it didn't happen. But still, it was a great match. It went about 20 minutes and it was awesome. And then Adam Copeland goes and gives his little recap of everything about on I read it on Instagram, but I'm sure he put it on Twitter and Facebook and everything else that he's on. But you just kind of run down the thing, and it's just
I also saw it on Instagram.
So for somebody like me, like it's just something that's like
it was a nostalgia pop for you.
A nostalgia pop for me, and something for me who has been a fan of and followed both of these guys' careers. But this is like the tippy top of the echelon, right? We're like the guy who's at the top of the indie scene, who has had a WrestleMania moment, and also was in WrestleMania events with Edge when he was Edge.
I mean, all I'm saying is he beat Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match at WrestleMania.
That too.
I mean, that's a WrestleMania moment. I mean, obviously Daniel Bryan wasn't the only one in that match, but I mean, it came down to him and DB, and DB was the Intercontinental Champion at that time.
Right. And I'm just saying, it was like, so these are two very prominent guys who, whose paths split, and then they were brought together. And I feel like that's really where AEW can find magic, right? But then they dilute that magic with lots of other cold matches.
Because it's Tony Khan's wet dream.
Because it's all Tony Khan's wet dream. So somebody really needs to be there to sort of be like, look, man, these matches that are big deals to you aren't big deals to most other people, and we should save these for special moments. And had they saved this for a little bit more of a special moment, had they done this in WWE, it would have been a much bigger moment. But the fact that I still got it, I still like, and that's why it's my match of the week, because I still got it. And I'm being selfish.
That's fine.
So selfishly, that's my match of the week. Oh, there were lots of other good matches. Dijak had a great match this week too, but that was on Tuesday. And there's lots of great matches on Tuesdays. Walt, what's your match of the week?
My match of the week is the opening match from WrestleMania 8, which was El Matador, Tito Santana, versus a very young, very newly crowned heel in Shawn Michaels. Shawn had just...
His earrings were still dangly at that point.
Yep, he had just gotten with Scary Sherry, and like the whole Heartbreak Kid thing was just really starting to take off.
Nobody had ripped that dangly earring out yet, because that.
And those guys, listen. I bet the build for that match was fun in 1992. We decided that was 92, right?
Yes.
But it was a cold match to me. And to just watch those two tell that fucking good guy, bad guy story in the ring with the action in a wrestling match was an awful lot of fun. I mean, Tito was doing like flying shoulder tackles, and Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan were like, oh my God, look at that high risk move, right? And
high risk maneuver. It was
Yeah.
a high risk maneuver.
And to look at those things, with the grace of hindsight being 2020, it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun to travel down the nostalgia road and enjoy something from the yesteryear. And I know I do that occasionally, because I do. I watch a lot of old stuff, in lieu of new stuff sometimes. But it was a really, really fun match. So
what I remember about that match at the time is that the pace of that match was a lot higher.
Yes.
Than anybody. Now, in a modern time, that's just the standard pace. But at the time, that was a high-paced, high-risk match, because there were lots of high-risk maneuvers going on.
Even though they weren't really.
No, they were like elbow drops, like from the second rope, and like double axe handles and things like that. So,
but it was a lot of fun, man. was a lot of fun, especially knowing that was like Sean's first ever like singles match on a major show to him becoming what he became. A lot of fun, man. Just a lot of fun.
He bumped like crazy in that one too, did he not?
Yeah, he bumped like crazy in a lot of his matches, man.
A lot. That was his singles. That was his singles like sort of thing where it was like he would take he would like give an extra roll and a wah kind of like fallback in the addition to.
So that was fun. That was a lot of fun for me. Hey, if you're still hanging out with us, man, we really do fucking appreciate the fuck out of you. Can you hit that thumbs up button? Maybe even consider subscribing. Hit the bell. We only go live once a week, and we don't really do much else, so we're not going to blow you up too much. But come hang out. We actually make a lot of sense most times. Check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_FallWC. That's ONE. And as always, check us out over on the audio side, wherever your favorite podcasts are hosted. Yeah, we're back live over there, Tom. That's, that was my big thing this year, try to get back on making sure that happened. And if you're listening to us, watching us, hanging out with us, anytime, anywhere, thanks a lot, pal.
You just know I like to fall asleep listening to myself talk.
With all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast. Bro, we're going live next week with WrestleMania recaps. Like